Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars! Alright, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets.
Pepper, break 100, 2016, anybody else?
In May of 2019, Hollywood actor Isaac Kappy allegedly forced himself off of a bridge in Belmont, Arizona. Isaac Kappy was a Hollywood actor, featured in movies such as Thor and Terminator Salvation. It's no secret that Isaac Kappy was a drug addict. He also got in trouble for choking out apparently Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris Jackson, but it's worth mentioning there was no arrest. She did not press charges. She simply filed a restraining order against him.
She's been getting some very bizarre texts from him. And not to mention, as we told you yesterday, this is the same guy who about a month ago allegedly choked her during a party.
His name is Isaac Kappy. He was a friend of hers and a friend of other celebrities in town. They used to go to game night, have game night at various homes, and then went off the rails and started accusing various people, Seth Green, of being a pedophile. Not true, but accusing all sorts of people, Steven Spielberg, just really going nuts.
So why am I talking about Isaac Kappy? Kappy was trying to shed light on pedophilia in Hollywood and in elite circles, and I believe that these allegations may have led to his death. As a Hollywood insider with friends like Seth Green, I believe his allegations to be credible. This credibility is bolstered by the fact that he called out Jeffrey Epstein before his arrest and Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, for being a part of the Mossad media matrix. Robert Maxwell was indeed a Mossad agent and billionaire media mogul. Take a look at these Periscope and Facebook live streams of Isaac Kappy.
It's really bad, and it's when it hits you, it's hard. I mean, I didn't know. It took the situation punching me in the face before I realized I was in the middle of some crazy fucking shit. And you know, most people are good, and they want to trust, and they can't even imagine that kind of an evil exists. And that helps them cover it up. Not personally, but people are murdered for it. I'm not suicidal. Am I afraid of something? I should be, because bad things are coming my way. I can assure you of that.
The last clip you saw happened 3 days before his death. So according to the police report, on the morning of Kappy's death, there was a number of people there trying to stop him from jumping. Eventually, he forced himself off of a bridge onto the road below, where he was run over by a Ford F-150. The driver of the truck was a man named Forrest Scott Proctor. Take a listen to this interview of Forrest Scott Proctor, where he describes a little bit of a different scene.
Who are you looking for?
Scott?
This is Scott.
Scott, hey man, we talked about 2 months ago. I asked you about an incident that took place at the Transwestern Bridge, and you gave me a story, but I'm curious because I'm reading the report right now that was just issued from the Department of Public Safety, and nothing's making sense on it. It doesn't mention cardboard. It doesn't mention kind of what happened, what you said.
Hey, what now?
So, you and I spoke about 2 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. you had told me a story. You mentioned that as you were driving eastbound lane, you saw a piece of cardboard, and you wrote and you mentioned something about you thought they were protesting up on tops, like 18 people, and you thought maybe ran over a box of kittens. You said something about cardboard, and
Yeah, there's a piece of cardboard on them.
there was a piece of cardboard on them.
Yep.
And the reason I'm calling you back here, I'm reading the report. I'm reading the actual paper that you filled out here, and it just said it's heading east on I-40 in Belmont. 2 cars veered to the side. That's what you told me before. Specifically, I hit something in the road, pulled over, walked back, and saw it was a person. Heard something hit my undercarriage, so I pulled over. There's no mention of cardboard, of the body being covered. And the reason I'm asking is because I also got the dash cam footage and the body cam footage from the police, and there's no cardboard anywhere. Not on the side, not on the road.
Yeah, there was. When I walked back to him, someone put the cardboard back on him.
Someone put
The lady did.
the lady put the cardboard on him.
Yep.
Can you and just this has been a really strange point for me during this investigation. How big was the piece of cardboard?
Oh, I don't know.
Would it be like 5 foot by 4 feet, or was it a small, like a kind of like a box that you?
Honestly, I don't remember. I know there was a piece of cardboard over it, and when I got back to it, yeah, the cardboard was still on him. Well, the lady put the cardboard back on him.
So when his body was in the lane, there was a piece of cardboard over that body when you ran it over.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. It's not, and like I say, the only reason I'm calling and asking is because it's not mentioned in the report, and it's not anywhere else. And which lady put the cardboard back on him?
The lady that was there.
Was she one of the other drivers that swerved?
Yep.
And there was cardboard on him. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Hey, I've had enough, okay? This has already been said and done. I don't want to discuss this anymore. I'm trying to forget it.
No, I understand, and this will be my last call. It's just that no one mentioned cardboard, and I hello?
So in the official police report, there was no mention of any cardboard on top of Isaac Kappy, and not only that, but they said that he was hit immediately after jumping off of the bridge, which again, it contradicts with what Proctor said. So another thing that's slightly suspicious is the photos that the police took of Kappy's car on the day of his death were actually photographs, if we look at the metadata, were taken before he actually died. Now, all this took place about an hour's drive from a place called Greenleaf Canyon Campgrounds. Now, what does Kappy have to do with a place called Greenleaf Canyon? Well, this takes us to pedogate researcher Tracy Twyman. Now, soon before Kappy died, he was in communication with Tracy, and she was sharing with him the pedogate research that she was discovering. She was discovering that there were these specific YouTube channels that were auctioning off, apparently, allegedly, children to sell to certain clients. And she traced back these YouTube videos to the owner of Greenleaf Campgrounds in Arizona in the city of Williams.
When I discovered this code that led me to discovering all of these obvious child trafficking videos on YouTube, and by that I mean they were listing videos and perhaps the children themselves also for sale.
This campground was owned by a man named Jamie Moeller. Now, Tracy has shown actually on YouTube text messages and Facebook messages where this owner Jamie was threatening her for the information that she was exposing.
This is the guy threatening me. The other thing you find is that he owns this campground. So you'll see what we're talking about. Here's where Isaac Kappy died. This is where the actual campground is, but the office and the address that's listed is in Williams. So not only is he not afraid to tell me who he is and his real name, supposedly, which actually is not Jamie Espy so much, but Jamie Muller. You find that out when you look up Greenleaf Canyon Campground. And he posted from his business's Facebook page these threatening messages on my Facebook page. Y'all, this poor lady, this is him actually, on this one, he's reposting my interview where I mentioned actually specifically him, or I don't think I mentioned him by name, but I talked about the owner of this is what I said, the owner of a campground who was sending me threats. So he realized, okay, well, you're talking about me, because he's the owner of a campground and he's been sending me threats. So he sent some more threats. Post them on his campground's page, so that, I mean, the implication, obviously, that anyone who's his client that would be looking at his page knows what he's doing there already, and they would be mad at me for talking about it and exposing it in public. So this is his campground's page where he's posting this. Y'all, this poor lady, how sad and deluded she is for giving us the shout out around 3703. Heartbreaking, really. And he puts the 2 emojis that I've identified as being codes in certain contexts to these videos where, you know, they hurt kids, and kids are destined to quite often to die. So it depends on the context it's used in, but often these videos, or the ones that the advertisements for them that are floating around on YouTube, use these emojis, the broken heart and the black heart. How sad and deluded we were to extend any protection around her whatsoever. I pity you, Miss Twyman, all unprotected. She gets what she deserves. Then he follows up with another comment. We wish her no harm unless she causes us harm. You get the first shit talk for free, silly lady. Next one, not so much. Okay, so that was when he's posting from a Jamie account on the Greenleaf page. Here's him using the Greenleaf page's account to post on my Facebook fan page. Peekaboo, we see you, Miss Twyman. Great episode. Poor Miss Twyman. This is on the Greenleaf Canyon Campground website. And look at that address, South Dewey Drive, Williams, Arizona. Poor Miss Twyman, sadly mentally tormented soul. Keep running your mouth and see what happens. Black heart emoji, broken heart emoji. But I was being bombarded with death threats. I was being bombarded with surveillance that had been taken of my son and of me. Letters, emails that let me know that they knew everything about us, that they knew exactly where he went to school, and they knew, when we were alone and when other people came and went from this house. They knew everything about us. Jamie Espy says to me, Dear Tracy Twyman, I hope this email finds you safe and sound. Hey, listen, could you call off your Facebook phone friend, Kyle? I serious. I was only trying to help you with our protection ritual. And your friend Kyle, look how he puts it in all caps. Your friend Kyle. Your friend, Kyle. Kyle has twisted and concocted the most insane take on my work and is causing unnecessary personal harassment. I'm sure you know what that feels like. So, I come to you civilly and ask for your assistance in this matter before your friend, Kyle, inadvertently causes someone else, some else, who is not as kind as me, to come pay you a real visit this time. Here's to you, Ms. Twyman. Your friends are far worse than your enemies, but we, your enemies, know where you sleep. Peace into you, Jamie Espy.
So Tracy alleges through Facebook screenshots and email screenshots that Jamie was threatening her due to the information that she was uncovering regarding his child trafficking YouTube videos. But if you go on Google and you look up Greenleaf Canyon Campgrounds, one of the first reviews is from TripAdvisor of someone who stayed there saying that Jamie, the owner, threatened to shoot them with a gun. So we can actually look online to see that this guy is probably prone to violence. So again, Tracy was warning Isaac Kappy about Greenleaf, telling him that this place should be on his radar and that this place was responsible for trafficking children.
So look, this is the guy that was harassing me. I actually mentioned this stuff to Isaac Kappy. And, I might have actually told him specifically who these guys were. I told this story on interviews I did on other podcasts that are larger than my own. where in those same conversations I also talked about Isaac Kappy. I talked about his appearance on Alex Jones, and I critiqued it, and I talked about his story a little bit. I talked about what I saw as the reasons to believe him, and then the reasons to maybe not believe him. So it's very likely that not only did I tell Isaac Kappy the specifics about these people who were attacking me from Arizona, from this campground, but that he then heard me mention it again later if he listened to these podcasts where that the subject was, one of the subjects discussed was him. So it seems likely he might have listened to those, or that someone who knows him listened to them and reported it to him, brought it to his attention. So that would have been yet another reminder, pay attention to this.
And according to Tracy, Kappy was driving from Williams to Belmont, where he died that morning. And of course, Williams is where the campground was.
Kappy, according to his roommate's next door neighbor, who'd been doing the periscopes, going over his debit card records, said that he was going back and forth between Belmont and Williams on that last day. And then he got a flat tire in a Days Inn that was near Belmont.
And again, Tracy was confident that Moeller was involved with this trafficking, and not only that, but he was repeatedly bragging about the fact that he was proficient in mind control, basically MK Ultra tactics.
The traffic of people, including children, for sexual purposes, and the torture of them on camera, and the murder of them being bragged about, the future murder of them. And even mind control was referenced. Anyone who saw the original videos knows exactly what I'm talking about. Mind control was also referenced in the videos, and some of the videos were made for the purposes of mind controlling the slaves, or keeping them in a state of mind control, or triggering a particular state of mind, or just reminding them to keep quiet, scaring the ones that have been talking.
And the day that Kappy died, again, it was super mysterious. I remember actually seeing on BitChute or YouTube a video of him at the bridge, just like kind of looking wonky, like kind of messed up. So it really looked like he was actually under mind control. And of course, he was, the day before he died, leaving Williams, where this campground is, where this MK Ultra mind control expert resides, and then he's found dead in Belmont. It just really seems like he was, I hate to say it, but MK Ultra the day he died.
Maybe if I had known, I feel like he was going out there to investigate this thing in Williams. It could have been that he was part of it, and that's why he was out there, and then they were just killing off someone who was kind of a loose end. But I would say my instinct on this is I think he was out there to investigate it, and I don't know if he was following up on the leads that I had given him, or if he had some other angle that had brought him out there. But that's what I think he was doing. And it could very well be that, it was Jamie of Greenleaf Canyon Campground that lured him out there for whatever reason, and that he had already been hit with these tactics.
So Tracy was telling people, like, on the internet that her phone actually was hacked, and her computer, soon after she went to the FBI to tell them about all this information she found in her research. However, the FBI just disregarded her.
I'm going to get into all the details, but I just, the material was gathered and reported at the time. I've had to take down the online versions of what I gathered because of the threats that came afterwards. This is one of the threats. But the threats really didn't start coming in until after I attempted to report this to the FBI. And the FBI kind of steered me out of the room, and they refused to write down anything I said. They took down my name, but they wouldn't tell me even the name of the officer I was talking to. They wouldn't let me in the building so I could sit down and talk to him. I had to stand there basically right next to the gate leading to the FBI building. I wasn't even allowed to go in the building. Wouldn't shake my hand. Wouldn't sit down with me.
Now, what makes this stranger is Tracy was also mentioning the fact that a group of Turkish businessmen were continually visiting these campgrounds. So Tracy was actually telling her friend that she was concerned for her safety, and soon after that, she was found hanged in her garage. So the videos of Tracy discussing Greenleaf Canyon were actually videos that she gave to two of her friends, telling them not to post it online because she was really concerned for her safety. But after she died, they decided to release it to the public, essentially it being like a dead man switch. Now, Kappy allegedly also had a dead man switch, so take a look at this. So of course that video took place in a Turkish bathhouse, and Tracy was talking about how Greenleaf Canyon campgrounds were hosting a bunch of Turkish businessmen. And the bathhouse appears to be in this hotel in Turkey. So yeah, in conclusion, both of their deaths were highly mysterious, of course, due to the nature of Tracy Twyman's research. She put herself in danger by looking into these subjects. So I encourage everybody to look into these ideas themselves. Don't just take my word for it. I'm going to be posting links in the description to help further your research if you're into looking into this stuff. And of course, please subscribe, because I'm going to be having more info in the future about this topic, especially relating to Tracy Twyman.
You know, out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing.